Okay, hello everybody and welcome. We have a Super Mario Kart. Ignore what it says, it's not 150cc. This is going to be 100cc as we are in a Division 2 match. And for the newer players in this Division 2, we decided to go with 100cc just to make things a little easier. I'm Dangerbolt. I'm joined on the mic by the Drunk Strawberry, who I'll probably just call Shaw's all evening. Hi.
Hello, hello.
And today's match is a Division 2 match, so these are two newer players. On the left-hand side from France, we have Lenain, and on the right side from Belgium, we have Neetsel.
I understand
So,
both players are proteges of our very own German, who's doing the French commentary.
yeah, these are both what we call Kart babies. Kart babies are new players that the Belgium champion Jarmu brings into the game. She's been recruiting fairly heavily in recent years and brought in a number of new players to us. So these are two of Jarmu's proteges. So if you are a French speaker, you can jump over to the French restream and listen to Jarmu's commentary there in French. And I believe she's joined by the current GP tournament champion Lafungo on comms.
And current European champion.
Ah, yes, the European multiplayer champion. Apparently I'm loud and you're low.
Okay.
I don't know if that's just Carol complaining. If I am super loud, I can lower my volume.
I hope this is better.
I can hear you loudly now anyway.
Okay.
So Neetsel, as the lower seed of the two players, has decided to push back. Which cup did I say he decided to push back? Flower Cup. And Lenain has picked from the remaining 3 cups for Mushroom Cup to be played first. So we're going to see a bit of Mushroom Cup action from them. Not quite sure why Neetsel's time is running, but it's just even going very shortly. For people who haven't seen Super Mario Kart tournament play before, what we're going to be looking for in a lot of these races is, well, A, to try and maintain full speed, avoid the CPU characters. B, pick up some feathers and some plumes to do some tricks. So being a Division 2 match, I think the main thing is just try not to crash too much and finish in the top 4 to progress to the next track. Shaw's
underway.
You're a more recent player. Can you describe just how difficult GP can be?
It's brutal, especially on NTSC. I'm surprised these players actually go for the faster characters, even though it's 100cc. Even with in 100cc with CPUs, they can be a nightmare.
Yeah, GP is. It's fast, it's difficult, and if you watch players like, say, Carol and Neo in Division 1, they make the game look so easy. It really is. Oh, wow, that is one of the biggest time losses you can get in the game. Getting hit by a poison mini shroom, you get reduced in size, which reduces your speed, leaves you vulnerable for being squashed, and just going to crawl to the finish.
So, you're nearly.
So you got about 2.5 seconds. But it looks less than 2.5 seconds in real time. I think Lenain probably lost a bit of time in the menus, perhaps. There is also a trick for some of these players which may come in handy, and that is it's actually You get quicker menus if you don't finish first. So if you're in a very tight race with the CPUs, it's better to finish second, third, or fourth than first. I think it saves a few seconds in the menus each time.
Is it because you don't get a victory animation?
Yeah, when you finish first, you get a kind of a prolonged victory animation. It's something I never noticed. It was Fire Waster raised it literally a couple of weeks ago. So you could see a few seconds there. And according to Carol in chat, apparently Neetsel runs Tintin O Tibet. So that's, I believe, a Super Nintendo game based on the Tintin, which is famously bad.
It's what I've understand of it. It's an intro games game, which is notoriously hard.
Okay, we're on Donut Plains 2. It's one of the easier tracks in the game, just kind of hopping around, avoiding the grass, hoping not to meet a CPU on the hairpin. Looks like Neetsel's moved out to a bit of a lead now onto the final lap here.
It's like
Oh no,
Lenain,
Lenain was already on the last lap. I should pay more attention. So you see players using different characters. There's four tiers of characters in this game. You have the heavyweights, which is Bowser and DK, who have the highest top speed and lowest acceleration, which Lenain is using and most of the top players are using. Neetsel's gone for one of the tier 2 characters, which is Mario Luigi. They have the second best top speed, but slightly better acceleration and handling than the heavyweights. And then below those you have the Princess Yoshi and then Toad Koopa. Toad Koopa are very new player friendly choices normally. They have the lowest top speed, second best acceleration and the tightest turning. But for people used to playing as the heavyweights, they are probably the hardest characters in the game to use, simply because they turn so much differently.
yeah, where the other characters all have a either neutral or increasing turning radius. Koopa Toad seem to have a decreasing turning radius. So that's very counterintuitive.
I'm a big fan of Neetsel's choice to go for the Mario Luigi class of character. Personally, I would have gone for Luigi over Mario. But the difference in top speed between like a Mario and a Bowser is less than kind of like a Crash's difference between the two. So if choosing a Mario Luigi with a slightly better handling stops you crashing even like once in the race, it really is a worthwhile pick to choose.
Absolutely. The aforementioned Jarmu until recently played even big tournaments with Mario and took a lot of scalps. So it's definitely possible to.
So Lenain's opened up a little bit more of a lead. I did think Lenain would be the favourite of these two coming into this match, simply because he's been streaming a lot of Super Mario Kart in the last month or so. Been on stream most days. Not sure if the command for the runners works in chat. Yep, go give those two great players a follow. Watch them as they progress through their Super Mario Kart journey. And anybody who wants to know a little bit more about the game, there's some links in chat to the bracket, the schedule, and the Super Mario Kart Discord. Bowser Castle 1. Main difficulty of this track is the thwomps. They're all up in the air on lap 1, which makes lap 1 fairly easy, but they start coming down at random on lap 2. And they can block your way, or they can just fall straight on your head and squash you. Got Lenain also hopping over the lava, which is not really a strat I expected to see in this match. It's faster to hop over the bumpers than drive into them and get launched over the lava. Every time you hit one of those little jump bars, you lose a bit of speed. But obviously, if you try and hop the gaps rather than use the bumpers, you run the risk of mistiming the hop, going a bit too early and falling in the lava. and one lava fall will lose a lot more time than hopping over every single bump bar in the race.
Yeah, so hopping a jump bar will gain you about a tenth of a second, I think. If you hit it. But if you miss, you drown and lose 5-6 seconds.
The bump bars, the speed loss from them stacks a bit more. So hitting one of them is not normally too bad, but it's when you hit 2 in a row or 3 in a row that your speed really does start to tank down. And because the Division 2 has been played on 100cc, hopping these lava sections is actually harder for these players because they're going to be at lower speed than the Division 1 players who are on the 150cc version, where because it's faster you jump further. So Lenain's taking his lead onto MC2.
Not going for the easy quote-unquote shortcut at the end of the lap.
Yeah, I used to do that, and then I stopped doing it because I kept crashing into the pipes after the start of a lap because of if you take that cut, it makes it a bit of a blind turn. But I've added that back in now. To Noah Link, there is no Division 3, but Division 2 is welcome for all skill levels. So next time you run a tournament, if you want to join, you can be basically somebody who struggles to even finish the cups, and you'll still be more than welcome to join in Division 2. But fair warning, this is a difficult game, so I wouldn't just go in blind and enter a tournament. I'd at least put in enough hours that you'd be confident of being able to finish it.
9:02 for Lenain. Not a bad time.
No, and Mushroom Cup, the easiest cup. We haven't seen any real difficulties in coming through and winning these races from the players. So Lenain is going to have one more lap to go. Oh, sorry, not Lane. Neetsel, one more lap to go. So Mushroom Cup not proving too much of a challenge for these players. I didn't expect it to for Lenain because Lenain did his tournament seeding run on 150cc and was able to finish that. So I was always confident that Lenain would have no real difficulties on 100cc in Division 2. It was the other Division 2 players struggling with especially Star and Special Cup on 150cc, which we gave them the choice and they decided to move over to 100cc just so that the tournament didn't become who ranks out the least. We'll give Lenain his point. 1-0 up. So next cup to be played is going to be either Star or Special. Neetsel will have the choice, and Jormu's the referee, so she'll handle those decisions.
A choice between Star and Special is a choice between cholera and the plague.
Yeah, newer players, especially at big tournaments, BC3 on Star Cup can be a very problematic track, and on Special Cup, pretty much anything can go wrong on any tracks. I still really hate Special Cup. I've been playing this game over a decade now, and I very much dislike Special Cup in GP speed.
Yeah, it's some of the only sort of playable track is Ghost Valley 3. The others are survival.
So looks like we're going to Star Cup. What we'll see is both players are going to do something what we call setting the menu, where you choose through all your cup options, choose your character, go into the cup, and then quit out. The game will then remember all your menu choices so that when they start the race, they can just mash through the B button on the controller without having to worry about selecting anything. So that's why before each cup, we see them go into the cup and then quit out of it first. Star Cup, in the last GP tournament we had here on SpeedGaming, I made a point of learning how to play Star Cup, and it went from being my least favourite cup to my favourite cup in GP. But that was, a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. And I found for this tournament, because I hadn't played any NTSC GP between the last tournament and this one, that I'd pretty much forgotten everything about Star Cup and had to relearn it all again. Bowser Castle 3 it's the big challenge of the Cup.
Yeah, the CPUs are brutal. The track itself is punishing. One mistake will lead to another.
Yeah, it's the kind of track where you can think things are going well, you make one small mistake, and then all of a sudden things have gone from like going well to losing 10-15 seconds in the blink of an eye.
You can still lose everything in the last half lap on BC3.
Okay, I'm not sure what's gone on here. Maybe one of the players false started or something. And it looks like Neetsel's. It looks like it's been caught anyway. So if that was me, I wouldn't have known till the end of the Cup, because I switch as soon as I start. I switch everything off, and I am unreachable until I finish the Cup. And
yeah, that is the threat. The smallest distraction can work havoc.
Yeah, I switch off chat. I don't watch anybody else's stream. I turn off Discord. Like, I just want it to be me versus the game. I know we're playing races versus other people, but the other person can't really influence how I play, and it's very difficult to adjust the speed that you're playing for your opponent. So if you're playing somebody who you think you're slightly better than, it's very hard in this game to drive slightly slower and safely. It's kind of, unless you are like an absolute beast of a game, for me there is only really one way to drive, and that is to go all out, and what happens happens. As soon as I start trying to drive more conservatively or more safely, I'll end up losing a bunch more time, because a lot of this game is down to muscle memory. You learn a path on how to drive and just hope that the CPUs aren't in the way when you get there. It's only when you get to the real top of the game where people kind of learn how to start avoiding all the CPUs and things like that as well. Do you have a least favorite CPU character?
My least favorite CPU character? Oh, that has to be Bowser.
Okay, for me it's DK.
Oh, really?
He seems to have shoulders half as wide of a track. He gives you that little sideways look and then shoulder barders you, even though you've left him like 3/4 of a track width of distance as you're lapping him. There's something evil about DK in this game.
There's something evil about every CPU in this game. Not
Yes.
so much artificial intelligence as artificial psychopathy.
Yeah, I think AI was in its infancy when this game was made, so the characters aren't necessarily intelligent, they just cheat. So the CPUs don't get slowed down by any off-road section, so on this track, Cooper Beach 1, you can see them just driving through the water without any speed loss. They can use their items as often as they like from lap 2 onwards. They're not restricted to picking things up. And whenever you collide with them, there always seems to be a much higher likelihood that it's you who gets dead stopped rather than them. Plus, they have the ability to just jump over anything you throw at them.
I have one of the biggest frustrations I had when I started playing GP was I would be playing with Bowser, which is a heavyweight. I would get hit by Mario, I would stop, but I was the heavyweight, so why would I stop? And when I switched to Mario, when I got hit by Bowser, I would still stop.
Oh, Neetsel. Oh, Neetsel picked up a feather, which is by far the most powerful item on this track. Allows you to do a really big shortcut, but looks like Neetsel didn't know what that shortcut was and just kind of threw the feather away. So,
For those
the off-road
not
section of the Choco Islands is probably the surface which slows you down the absolute most. As soon as you hit that dark chocolate on the outside, you can watch and the speed just disappears to near nothing. Wow. I think that banana was at a DK special.
Yeah.
Oh, into the back of Invincible Mario. This is... Oh, get some speed, get some speed, get some speed, get some speed. Whew. You have to finish in the top 4 in a race to progress to the next one. So Lenain was in a lot of danger at the end there. Neetsel has come through in first place. Yeah, that can be one of the dangers of picking Bowser as a newer character, is that you have Mario and Luigi just behind you, and they can just essentially be permanently invincible. Whenever you get close, they'll just activate that star.
Yeah.
So, Shaw's briefly explain to our viewers why this is possibly the worst track in the game.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. This is one of the best tracks in the game.
So Vanilla Lake 1 is well known for being a bit of a turd of a track. There's ice blocks everywhere which slows you down. There's snow which slows you down. There's, for some reason, pipes sticking out of a frozen lake which get in your way and slow you down. There's a narrow corridor towards the end where the CPUs like dropping items and killing you. And pretty much universally this track is disliked apart from by about 3 people, one of you whom is my co-commentator, the Drunk Strawberry, who for whatever reason thinks this track has a nice flow to it.
That's when you see a good player play it well, it's very nice.
Yeah, I will accept that when you see Neo play it, it does look like it's some kind of magic going on. But for everybody else who isn't called Neo, it usually just looks horrendous. And Lenain, and now Neetsel moving on to Bowser Castle 3, which could be the track to make or break this cup. Is can you get through BC3? Lenain off to a nice start. Lap 1 with all the thwomps in the air is a lap where you want to build up a bit of a lead, because laps 2 to 5 is when this becomes difficult.
And the chance of rank out here is very big. So the tables can turn really quickly here.
Yeah, and like mistakes can just pile up very, very, very quickly on this track. Do not want to be in amongst the CPUs at any point in time. While you're ahead of the CPUs, it's fairly easy. But as soon as you get in amongst the CPUs, it can be an absolute nightmare.
And it's also very easy to lose speed here. And driving not at full speed is also very difficult.
As you see, Lenain then came to the thwomp wall, got completely blocked off by thwomps, and the CPU characters ignore thwomps, they just drive straight through them, and an invincible Luigi just ploughed straight through Lenain while he was blocked off at the thwomps. Oh, hitting that wall very... Oh, Neetsel getting a DK special banana just before the thwomp wall. This could be difficult for Neetsel. Looks like, I was going to say Lenain has it back in hand, but a couple of thwomps block his way, and now he's got 2 brothers ahead of him who may turn invincible on him. He's kind of lucky they didn't then.
Lenain also not going for the feather shortcut, but using the feather to get over the thwomps, which is a good strat.
Yeah, at this level, just guarantee getting over the thwomps and get through the race. Very nice getting through there. Hopefully Neetsel can do the same, keep this last lap fairly clean.
Sub 2 minutes is a very good time here.
Oh, thwomp wall, thwomp wall. Oh, and now here come the CPUs. Just hold in. Don't drop a banana on him. There we go. Second place in that situation was actually the quicker possible finish for Neetsel. If he'd just snuck ahead of DK. He would have had a slightly longer menu transition. MC4 track, which is horrible in one-player mode. So for people who don't know, a lot of these tracks become easier in two-player mode because half of the track obstacles get removed due to the limitation of the game system. So on a track like Bowser Castle 3, half of the thwomps would have been removed if they were playing in two-player mode. So you never have that situation where you have 4 thwomps blocking your path. At most, there's two thwomps on that area. And similarly on this track, half of the pipes get removed. So on the area where there's like 4 pipes across the width of the track, you'd only see 2 pipes in two-player mode. So one-player mode is probably the hardest difficulty to play the game in.
Yeah, I always practice one player before tournaments, so that way when I have to play two-player, it's a bit easier.
Yeah, if you can drive on one player, you can drive on 2-player, but the reverse isn't always the true. But this track's not really much going on this track. Not too difficult. Just keep it on the road. Don't get caught up on a hairpin, and it's a track where the CPUs don't try particularly hard. So you can see Lenain's got a massive lead now over Mario. Neetsel in a bit more of a race on their side with DK being DK. Nearly had him with that banana. It looks like Lenain's going to come through to a 2-0 lead. So just to rehash on the format, it's a best of 5. So it's I'm a bit behind. Oh gosh, I was watching the the restream rather than the Discord. Okay, I was only like 3 or 4 seconds. Okay. Thank you, Fire Waster. Yeah, so it's a best of 5 individual cup races. So first to 3 wins. So Lenain is now on match point. There's 4 cups in the game. The lower seed gets to push back one of the cups, so it'll be played in 4th. It was Flower Cup which got pushed back. We've now played Mushroom Cup and Star Cup, so Special Cup will be the next cup. And in my opinion, Special Cup is the hardest of the cups, especially the first 2 tracks on it. DP3 and Cooper Beach 2 are just absolutely brutal with how badly the CPUs cheat. And then just to round it all off, you have Rainbow Road at the end, which can be a nervous nightmare to finish, shall we say. But, both
Rainbow
players
Road is one of the tracks that either goes very well or very bad.
Yeah, it's a lot of things with Super Mario Kart in GP is if you're out in the lead, the game is pretty easy. As soon as you're in amongst the CPUs, it becomes infinitely harder. So Rainbow Road, it can go from being you get the zoom start, you get away from them, it can be fairly easy. Rainbow Road, you stall out at the start, all the CPUs go past you, and all of a sudden you're in a nightmare race. So just to go through on the zoom starts, you'll sometimes, there's kind of 3 starts you can get to every race. There's the zoom start where you zoom off at high speed, which is what you want to get. There's the stall start where you get smoke coming out of your tires and you spin out on the grid for a little bit. You get that if you try and accelerate too early. And then you just get the regular, oh, I missed the start, where you accelerate a bit too late. You don't get the zoom start, but you also don't stall out. And there's 2 different timings for the zoom start. So there's a timing for when you're at the front of the grid, like the players are on the first track of the cup, and when you're at the when you're at the back of the grid on the first track of the grid, and then you get an 8-frame window to hit the zoom start for the other tracks of the cup, when you're towards the front of the grid, you'll have a 4-frame window, so it gets a lot more difficult.
And it being NTSC, there is supposedly a visual cue to tell you when to start applying the throttle.
There is for 150cc. I don't know if that visual cue works the same in 100cc that mode though. I don't, because the zoom starts to do with like engine pitch. It's probably the same. So when you're playing NTSC GP, you get a little message on the screen flash up to say ready. And when that message is just over half faded away, if you start accelerating then, you should get the zoom start. Oh, Lenain sticking with Bowser through Special Cup. So if you look at the top of the screen, you get that round 1. And when that's just over half disappeared, if you accelerate, you should get the zoom start like Lenain did. But Neetsel, unfortunately, is driving through the CPUs and missing the zoom on Special Cup. This is where coins can become an issue. So coins serve 2 purposes in this game. And I'll let Shaw's enlighten you on what those 2 purposes are.
Yeah, the main purpose of coins is getting extra top speed. For every coin you get below 10, I think, you get an extra bit of top speed that you can reach. And they're also a protection against spin outs. If you have 0 coins and the CPU hits you, you actually spin out and lose a lot of time.
Yeah, and that can be a particular issue. In Special Cup, you start the first track of the cup with 5 coins because you're at the back of the grid. But if you finish first in a race and you're starting at the front of the grid, on the next track you'll only start with 2 coins. And if you miss the zoom start, you can lose those 2 coins almost instantly with the CPUs passing you. And you can get to a stage where you're behind all the CPUs and any hit on them will cause you to spin out. So Neetsel with a mushroom. There is a trick on this track called what we call the Jesus shroom, where you shroom into the water, do a bit of a Jesus style walking on water and then hop over a wall. It's very risky to do, and given Neetsel didn't know the Choco Island 2 feather, I'm not surprised to see them not even looking at trying the DP3 shroom trick. Both players through DP3 fine. Lenain with about an 8-second advantage. Cooper Beach 2 is probably the track I still have the most difficulty with in terms of GP. The CPUs just cheat incessantly on this track. You see Lenain getting slowed down by the water there, the CPUs don't. And you get one bad fish position or drown in one dark stretch of water and you can just have all the CPUs just rushing past you.
Yeah, and there's also the issue of a lot of sideways momentum, which will get you out sideways in the water, which will slow you down as well.
Yeah, this is a track where you can be in the lead for 4.5 laps, absolutely no problem. Hit one little wall like that, and all of a sudden you've got everyone going past you. It's really difficult to build up any kind of advantage over the CPUs on this track.
Especially because you can never keep full speed if you're in a Division 2 level.
Yeah, even at Division 1 level, there's probably only going to be 1 or 2 players capable of maintaining full speed the entire race on a consistent basis. Lenain's got through fine. Neetsel hopefully won't get trolled by DK right at the finish. He gave it his best shot. But Neetsel through. Onto Ghost Valley 3, which is, in my opinion, the easiest track in the cup. It's there's a few bits where you can fall off, but it's a track where the CPU doesn't try particularly hard, and they can't cheat in the same way as they can in the other tracks because there's no off-road section which doesn't slow them down. but does slow you. So just keep it on the track and you should be fine on this one.
Yeah. Providing you don't fall in.
Yeah, I say just keep it on the track. Just is not really a thing in Mario Kart. It's try to keep it on the track, and if you do, you'll be fine. But never take anything for granted in this game, because it's a very weird control system in terms of the game physics on how the characters handle, which could make any kind of deviation to your memorized lines very difficult to do.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a slight adjustment of your driving.
Yeah, as soon as I have to improvise, that's when things start going horribly wrong in this game for me normally. But, both players still in first place. No attempts at platform jumps. I really don't blame them. Ooh, they nearly shell feed.
No, I've been playing Mario Kart for a couple of years now, and even I still don't do platform jumps in GP. The name going for it, but paying a price.
Oh, Neetsel's having a bit of a nightmare, and just as I say that, Lenain too. This is the point where you really don't want Mario to turn invincible. Oh, this could be bad. This could be very bad. He's not going to pass Yoshi. It's going to be a rank out for Lenain, who's going to have to redo the entire track. That could make it interesting, because how Neetsel's been playing, they might have a bit of a difficult Rainbow Road. So this could come down to can Neetsel finish Rainbow Road on the first attempt?
Yeah.
Glossing over the fact that they still have to play Vanilla Lake 2 as well, which is far from a cakewalk.
Oh, absolutely.
But from a purely neutral viewer perspective, come on, Neetsel, let's have another cup and keep this one going. Nobody likes to see a 3-0. Oh, this track, though. At least the CPUs do you the honour of clearing out a decent path through the ice blocks on their journey through that section on lap 1. So for the rest of the laps, it shouldn't be too bad, though the CPUs do have a tendency for like dropping bananas and green shells in that section, though. Come on, Neetsel.
The biggest mistake you can make on VO2 is being too greedy and jumping the gaps on the ice. Yeah,
slow and steady, and you'll make it through every time. There are some sections where if you drown, it's almost like a forced double drown, because Nikita will pick you up and put you back, basically just facing a patch of water as well. And unlike other Mario Karts, there's no real easy way to turn around in this game. All you can do is slowly hop on the spot until you're facing a different direction. There's no like burning out your tyres and spinning to the other way. No, Neetsel, no. Come on. Just drive through this section nice and slowly. Don't drown. Get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Good. Lenain, second time, much better on his GV3. Got through in first place. 4 clean laps, one mistake on lap 5, but silly enough to get through. Neetsel's off to Rainbow Road. I hate Rainbow Road. I do. I really dislike this track, especially in GP. So we talk about GP. A lot of the people get into this game through the time trials mode. So there's time trials competition which has been running since the 90s. We've got leaderboards with over 600 people on them, and most people get into the game from the time trial side of things. So playing GP can be a bit of a shock for us, just having CPUs in your way and having to learn how to improvise lines rather than just do set lines the same every single lap. So Lenain is in second place with a mushroom. Should hold on to that mushroom until the start line straight. Don't try anything fancy here with it.
Neetsel in the meantime is keeping his own on Rainbow Road.
Yeah. It's so nervous to watch this. Those thwomps aren't just ordinary thwomps, they're invincible, so if you hit them, you won't just slow down, you'll spin out and stop. And when that happens, you'll spin out and stop, and you'll be facing directly at the thwomp again. So sometimes you just have to sit there and wait and watch and wait for it to raise up. But Neetsel with a feather can keep this to jump over a thwomp should it be really needed. I'm not going to see any finish line tricks with this feather from Neetsel. Just keep it on the track, slow and steady. Keep that feather. If you need it, you can jump over the thwomps. 1 lap to go.
Also, one of the extra issues that Rainbow Road has is not just the fact that it has no wall, so going off track actually means going off track. And what often happens is that Lucky 2 will put you back on the track on the racing line where CPUs will bump into you and put you off track again.
Well done, Neetsel. Neetsel takes Special Cup.
Yes.
So Lenain now leading 2 cups to 1. And they're going to be playing Flower Cup next, which is the last of the 4 remaining cups. Lenain wins Flower Cup and Lenain wins the match. If Neetsel wins Flower Cup, we'll go to a decider, 5th cup. Oh, that was a nasty placed Yoshi egg for Lenain. It's going into the into lap 3 at the back of the pack. So when we did the seeding run, Lenain did his seeding run on 150cc at the same time as myself, Carol, and Firewaster. And as soon as we'd finished, we started watching his stream, and it looked like he had a pretty decent Mushroom Cup, Flower Cup, Star Cup, got through absolutely no problems. He was on the he was in Special Cup when I started watching, and Special Cup, no problems. Got to Rainbow Road. Rainbow Road was problems. It's so narrow. You get the CPUs hitting you, CPUs dropping obstacles. The thwomps kind of dictate a specific line you have to try to go through. It can be very, very hard, especially if you're at the back. We saw with Neetsel, Neetsel was able to get out in front of the CPUs and just drive it fairly carefully and just keep ahead of them, whereas Lenain's having to try and pass through the CPUs, and that is just so difficult.
0 coins.
Yeah, on 0 coins, so every hit of a CPU will spin him out. There are coins on the track, but you'd have much better eyesight than me if you can spot them.
Yeah, design-wise, putting yellow coins
salvage.
in yellow tiles. Very.
What a salvage at the end there. Yeah, there's Firewaster mentioned there. Lenain did something called a feather spin cancel. So if you hit an item, like say a banana or something like that, if you have a feather or a mushroom, if you use those while you're in a spin out animation, it'll cancel the spin out and you'll basically not fall down to 0 speed. It's very useful, say if you hit a banana peel while you're spinning out, you just hit the feather and you don't lose anything like the speed you would do if you just span out to a stop on it. So Jarmu's messaging me. I'm assuming she's telling me that they're going to be playing Flower Cup next. Yep. So if anybody wants to get into Super Mario Kart or wants to find out some more about the tournament, if you !SMK in chat gives you links to the tournament bracket, the schedule, and the Super Mario Kart Discord. If you want to get into playing this game, just join that Discord, say hi, and you'll find that people there will be more than willing to help you get into it. If you want to follow these 2 lovely runners, we've got the links to their Twitch channels in chat, and no idea if those commentators are in there as well. Yeah, if you want to give me and Shaw's a follow. Shaw's, I don't think you stream much these days, do you?
I think end of February I'll be starting my fall season again with preparations for CDM. I think I'll be streaming there with 81, possibly.
So CDM is what we call the Championnat du Monde. It's the Super Mario Kart kind of World Championships, which originated in France, which is why it has the old French naming CDM. I think now it's just called Super Mario Kart Championships, but we still all call it CDM, which is in August of each year, where we all meet up. It's now held in the Netherlands in a lovely town called Alphen aan den Rijn. And yeah, usually about 50 players from around the world meet up, and we play Super Mario Kart over like 4 days. 1 day for time trial, 1 day for match race, 1 day for battle mode, one day for GP, playing the multiplayer modes in 2-player, and it's an absolute blast. It can be absolutely brutal at the same time. And last year, because of travel restrictions, it was restricted to a championship of Europe, and it was won by Lefungo, who is over on the French comms. He's an American currently living in the Netherlands. It was a bit of a surprise to see him win the overall thing, but he's gone from being
individual.
Yeah, but he's become a very, very good player in the last couple of years. Like, it's strange just seeing some people who you look at them and you don't think they'll ever be one of the real top players, and then they just make the jump up. It's incredibly rare in this game for people to make that jump up to the very top, but Lefungo did that extremely well last year. And he is the reigning SpeedGaming 150cc tournament champion. Unfortunately, he was unable to take part in this year's tournament, so won't be defending that title. But he does have the European champion title at the moment, despite being American. So it's been brought up in chat about how people can play this game. So for the Speed Gaming tournament, we've basically allowed anything that's allowed on speedrun.com. So obviously original Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Nintendo Classic, Mini, the Switch version of the game, and also suitable emulators. So you're not allowed to use ZSNES, but if you're using SNES 9X, you'll be fine. The main yearly all-round competition generally gets done on time trial mode. For that, emulator isn't allowed, but any official Nintendo release. So again, original hardware, Switch, Virtual Console, SNES Mini are all allowed. And yes, you can use other characters and be competitive. Basically, the difference between the fastest characters and the slowest characters is only really about 1 or 2 small mistakes in your driving. So the reason why the very top players pick the heavyweight characters is because they've got slightly higher top speed. So in theory, if you drive a perfect race, you will get a better time. In reality, nobody drives a perfect race. So a lot of the time, you'll see people getting times, even the best like really good players using heavyweights, which can be beaten with even the slowest characters.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Neetsel has gone ahead on Flower Cup, so looks like we have a race.
Yeah, and this was a cup Neetsel didn't want to play as well, unless there was some kind of strategy in them pushing the cup back to 4th. Usually people will push back the cup they don't want to play. That's definitely a strategy I've been using, and pushing back Special Cup. But Flower Cup's an interesting one because the tracks aren't particularly difficult until you reach Bowser Castle 2, but it's nowhere near as difficult as, say, a Bowser Castle 3 or the tracks of Special Cup.
No, and Flower Cup tracks are more opened up than Star and Special Cup.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah, Neetsel here has the curse of slow driving, where
Yeah.
losing speed means the controls go all whack.
Oh, he's got a bolt though. That bolt is fine. So there's different item probabilities in this game. So there's essentially 3 different sets of items you can get. So on lap 1, everybody has the same item set, and it's called like lap 1 or first place. And on lap 1, you can only really get things like mushrooms, bananas, feathers, shells. You can't get stars or bolts. And then there's exactly the same item set on the other laps for the player in first place. So the person in first place will never get star, never get lightning. Then you have an item set for being in second to fourth, where you can get stars, but you can't get lightnings, I don't believe. Or if you can get lightnings, it's very low probability. And then fifth
Lightnings
to
are
eighth.
only 5 to 8.
Is it fifth to eighth? Yeah. And then fifth to eighth, you can get everything, and they're skewed towards the power items like stars. Though I find driving with a star in this game incredibly difficult, because it just changes the way the cart handles.
Yeah, and it's there are only a few top players who can drive star reasonably well. But other than that, it's a curse.
Yeah, mushrooms and feathers can be got in any position. So the 2 main items we want for a speed racing tournament can be got in any position. But yes, as Carol mentions, the probabilities can differ. So for a feather, you can see, I think if you're in second place, you've got 3 times the probability of getting a feather on a Bowser Castle than if you're in first. Speaking of feathers, Neetsel's picked up a feather. Not going to go for the finish line shortcut. I'll be easy to see. Be interesting to see if Neetsel goes for what we call the beginner shot. Oh, I've never even seen that one before.
No. That's one to
Wow.
remember.
I mean, it doesn't really cut much of a track at all, but I mean, it technically was a shortcut.
It saves you a bit of steering.
It's always nice
the
to see
control.
people who come from things with their own perspective, just see how they learn to innovate. So Lenain looks like it's having a pretty good Bowser Castle 2 here. Onto the last lap. I just jinxed it. But Stove has got a good half a lap lead over CPUs. It's not going to be an issue. Even DK wanting to throw things. So whenever you see the lower screen switch to a rear view mirror kind of mode, you can manually do that yourself by pressing the X or Y button, whichever one's at the top. But the game automatically switches you to that rear view mode whenever one of the CPUs is about to throw something at you. So it's a warning that something's going to land on your head. Not that you can do anything to avoid it. Like the game letting you know it's coming is of almost no help whatsoever, because you can't influence where it's going to go. So all it does is make you nervous before you get killed. So Neetsel successfully through Bowser Castle 2, but he's going to need a minor miracle on MC3 to keep this one going. Lenain's out ahead of the CPUs, which is the main thing you want on this. You've got a nice little zipper on the start-finish straight to get you back up to full speed for the next lap. And just hold on. Get around a hairpin is one of the main things here. You don't want to turn too soon and end up facing the wrong way.
And you don't want to turn in too late, because you'll hit the pipes at the exit. It's a very narrow bandwidth where you can take the hairpin at full speed.
Yeah, I mean, on 150cc, I don't even try and take it at full speed. I always dab the brake in the first half of the turn. Like NTSC 150cc, like if there's a line to get around that at full speed, I've never found it. 100cc, it's probably more possible. But even 150cc, even in time trials, I think I let off the gas slightly on the bend on NTSC.
I think, wasn't it Fire Waster that uses the boost that you can get at the exit?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go super wide on the turn and then boost behind the pipes while shouting Guillermo Arantes. Yeah, even SMK underscore machine, aka KVD, our tournament #1 seed, says that he breaks through that hairpin as well. So Lenain successfully manages his way through MC3. He's going to take this match 3-1.
Yeah. Very well done. GG.
Well done, Lenain. Not sure whether we're going to be getting interviews from these players. More likely that they'll jump over to the French restream. So I'll leave it open in case I do want to jump in, and we can have a little chat about what's upcoming in this tournament. So there's still 3 more Division 1 matches left in this week's round of matches. Tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon, depending on what part of the world you're in, we're going to have a match between the number 3 seed, Eric, and I'm going to say number 7 seed, Aaron. Number 7 seed for Aaron does him a little bit of a disservice. He is the current world number 2 in time trial mode. He just hasn't played too much GP, but I expect him to be very competitive as we move through the weeks of the tournament. Then on Saturday, we've got a match between the number 5 seed Jarmu and myself. That one's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday, so 8 p.m. European time. But Jarmu has a habit of soundly beating me whenever we play, so hopefully I'll be able to take a cup off of her this time. And then on Monday, we have the big matchup of the group stage between the number 1 and number 2 seeds, between KVD and Neo. That should be an absolute barnstormer of a match. So I recommend people tune in for those Division 1 matches. They will be, hopefully all of them, fairly competitive and show what true 150cc hard mode can be like. So there's a link to the schedule, the Discord, and the tournament bracket in chat. And also, one more time, give those 2 runners a follow over at Twitch TV/Lenain and Neetsel. Shores, any words you want to have for the lovely people in Twitch chat?
Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time. Hope some people are inspired to pick up the game as well. Maybe participate next time.
Apparently, they're ready for the English interview. I'm just trying to find out if they've got invites for the English stream. I've marked them both. Let me sorry, I've got two Discords going on at the moment. Apparently, we have players wanting to come in for interviews, but I'm not sure if they've got the Discord invites or not. Let me just ask admin. Okay, looks like they're both going to be in here, so can we drag them in? Okay, hello, Lenain and Neetsel. First up, congratulations, Lenain.
Hello, congratulations.
Can we...
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't hear Lenain.
Okay, yeah, I can hear Neetsel. Okay, you seem quite loud, but congratulations, Neetsel. Yeah, you took a cup in that match. I was probably expecting Lenain to take it 3-0 with just how much I've seen Lenain practicing in the last month or so. But good show. I don't think you ranked out on any of the tracks, so that's
No,
always
it's
a good
yeah,
thing in GP.
yeah. I won the special cup during my last match, so I was hopeful that the only reason I would win the cup is just that I don't rank out. It paid off, at least for that.
Well, I did
Yeah.
rank out.
Yeah,
Can you hear
Lenain,
me now?
yeah, I can hear you now. Congratulations on the win, Lenain. Yeah, I
Thanks.
mean, for most of the match, you were kind of just a few seconds faster each track than Neetsel. GV3, you had a bit of a nightmare there on the last lap the first time around, which is
Mhm.
how you ranked out. But how did you enjoy it? How are you enjoying the tournament so far?
Yeah, it's pretty fine actually. It's a lot of fun. So I hope to compete in many tournaments because it's really a nice community. So it's my first tournament, and it's a nice one too. Let's go.
Have you been okay with nerves on during the matches, or are you finding it a little nervy, difficult to play?
Actually, it was as usual. It's just sometimes painful, but well, this is
I know
SNK, so.
some people have difficulty with like nerves and pressure of playing in tournament matches. I'm one of them. I can absolutely fall apart, whereas other people seem to thrive under the pressure of it being a tournament match and end up playing better. I don't understand how those people can do that.
Yeah, on my side, I just find the game already nerve-wracking bad itself. So the fact that it's a tournament doesn't change much for me at this point.
Yeah, it's difficult to express. Yeah, it's difficult to express.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I feel that we are used to play and being salty because it's a really complicated game, and well, I really don't think about the tournament when I play. I just play and
Yeah.
hope that
Yeah,
I finish.
definitely. I just hope to not rank out, and that's it.
I mean, to be honest, people will be playing this game for a few years, and you can still just be in that "I hope I don't rank out" mode. In our tournament seeding runs, I ranked out on one of the special cup matches, and I've been playing this for a decade. It's never a foregone conclusion that you are going to get through every single race absolutely fine. This game can be brutally difficult, and it likes to punish a mistake with even more kind of brutal CPU action on you.
Yeah. I have so many times you end up like in fifth, and all four people in front of you are within a second. So you're like, this game is really punishing the mistakes in the final laps every time.
Yeah, especially on something like
only
Rainbow
100
Road.
100cc. It's not 150
Yeah.
cc.
That's actually why we asked to go to 100 cc's, because in 150, well, at least for me, I've been playing the game for like a few weeks, and it's really brutal. So
I feel you.
So,
but we are just babies, so we have many things to learn.
So how much help has Jamu been giving you? How much training's been going on behind the scenes?
Well, go.
Well, on my side, not much. I got a few advice which were really, really nice, and I think it helped because it feels. I didn't compare my time, but it feels like I was faster this time compared to my match last week. Unfortunately, I don't really have that much time to practice, but yeah, so far advice have been really helpful. So.
Good. Any last words for our lovely viewers out there?
Well, I hope they had fun.
At least we provide fun.
Okay, well, again, congratulations, Lenain, Neetsel. Great watching you, and look forward to seeing the rest of your matches. For everybody else out there, the next match that's going to be on stream is going to be a Division 1 match tomorrow, and that's going to be between Eric and Aaron. So check out the schedule, tune in for that one. Shores, any closing words before we say goodbye to these lovely people?
No, just watch out for the upcoming matches because I know they will be great. So clear your schedule.
Okay. So thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.